Hello and good day, everyone. Embracing the beauty of diversity, the Iban community. First of all, let me introduce our team. Our team consists of me, myself, Aziza, Effie, Odilia, and Tanya. These are the content in our presentation: issues of investigation, methodology, interviewees' backgrounds, findings, implications, conclusion. Issues of investigation. These are the two main issues that we found from the interviews, which are cultural differences and language differences. Cultural differences, defined as the various beliefs, behaviors, languages, practices, and expressions considered unique to members of a specific ethnicity, race, or national origin, while language differences refer to variation in ways people communicate and express themselves across different languages or dialects. This study focuses on a group of Malay educators from different schools that are working in the Iban community. This is the methodology that we use for our findings. We have conducted face-to-face interviews with the three interviewees. All the interviews has been transcribed as well. Our informants are three Malay teachers who currently work at Lubo Antu and Daro in Sarawak. The first teacher is from Siburan, Sarawak. The second teacher is from Temerloh, Pahang, and the third teacher is from Daro, Sarawak. Now, let's learn more about our interviewees. The first one is interviewee A. She is a female and she's 34 years old. She works as a teacher and married to Bidayo. Her religion is Islam and race is Malay. She speaks Sarakian Malay and a little bit of English. Next is interviewee B. She is a female, 31 years old. She works as a teacher, married to a Malay. Her religion is Islam and her race is Malay. She speaks Sarakian Malay language and a little bit of English. Lastly is interviewee C. She is a female, 32 years old. She also worked as a teacher, single. Her religion is Islam and her race is Malay. She speaks Malay language and a little bit of English.
Next will be the findings. These are the exact words from the interview's transcripts from the three educators interviewed for this study. Interviewee A's perception of the Iban community. At first, I was very worried because I was afraid of not being able to fit in people's place and afraid of saying the wrong thing and hurting others. However, everything is okay. The Iban community in this place is very nice and they are open minded. They are not excessively bound by the traditions of their ancestors. Iban community is one of the largest races in Sarawak. However, the place is different. The speech, language is also different. Interviewee B's perception of the Iban community. They certainly speak a different language than me, and also they live in a longhouse. How am I going to adapt in the Iban community? Interviewee C's perception of the Iban community. Can they understand the Malay language? Iban community is a community that has strong family principles, a people who hold fast to their customs and respect their customs very much. It is rare to see them move out of the longhouse to build a new, more comfortable life. Next, we will be talking about the cultural differences. 1. Rare Iban ritual, which is called adat miring. 2. Different celebration. 3. Burial ritual. 4. Taboos. And we will be talking about Manang. 1. Rare Iban ritual. Adat miring. Adat miring aims to bless the people, protect and give and bring happiness, peace and harmony in the community. They believe all problems must be resolved by doing mirroring ceremony to diffuse problematic situations which occurred in their life. Furthermore, this tradition is also done to request for assistance from the god. Mirroring ceremony can only be conducted when there are calls given through dreams, pengaruh, and signs. In implementing the mirroring tradition, the community assigns ritual role to a group of specialists known as lemambang, which are shamans. The sacrificial in adat miring. They sacrifice chickens to call upon the semangat, which is a good spirit, to ward off negative entities in that particular place. They also sacrifice a pig and perform the Sandau Ari ritual, a divination, using the pig's liver. It is usually done for big occasion. Divination is the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means. Only the shaman possesses the knowledge to determine whether the color of the pig's liver changes. If there is a change in color, it indicates an unfavorable fate. These are the opinions of interviewee A and interviewee C on the cultural differences. I've seen people perform a mirroring ceremony when building a suspension bridge at the school. In addition, they have also practiced korban, which involves sacrificing a pig as a form of atonement if something goes wrong, according to their customary beliefs. Mirroring, which was a traditional practice done occasionally.
Okay, so for this slide, we will talk about the celebration that the Iban community celebrate every year. The Dayak people of Sarawak celebrate a yearly festival and a public holiday on the June 1st and 2nd to signify the end of the harvesting period and to express gratitude for the abundant crop. So this festival is called the Gawai celebration. Interviewee C stated that it's interesting to see them dressed in the traditional clothes, beautiful, unique, and expensive to own. Yes, it is indeed very expensive to own a traditional clothes. It can cost up to hundreds of ringgits, so you have to spend quite a lot to buy the traditional clothes. Okay, next we'll move on to the burial ritual. A burial ritual is a memorial service for a deceased family member. It is the process of separating those who pass away from those who are still alive. Okay, let's take a look on the Iban burial ritual. The Ibans will have a ritual when there is a family member who passed away. The body is to be kept in the house for at least 3 days and to be publicly displayed for the family members and friends to pay their last respects or mourn the departed. Also, in the Iban mourning rituals and burials, and in beliefs about the afterlife, there will be number one, adat pemati, which means an evaluation of one's social and personal value based on the duration of the grieving period and the penalties for violating the rules. These rules are often applicable only to the family and close relatives of the deceased. Number two, Sabak, a chant before burial that describes the trip to the afterlife. And the third one is Sabayan, which means the afterworld of the dead. They also leave grave goods on the grave as they believe that the soul needs the items. Last ones are Serara Bungai, which means engaging in a morning ritual, and the ending of morning session, Ngetas Ulit. So this is one of the excerpts from the interview. Interviewee C stated that, in contrast to the Malay tradition, which proceeds to bury the body once all formalities are finished, the Iban culture keeps the corpse at home for 3 days. Next, we'll move on to the taboos in the Iban culture. So the Iban culture encompasses of taboos, which also means penti pemali in Iban, and sometimes it involves the shaman, which is manang, whose role is to treat individuals traditionally, especially if you are sick and you don't want to go to the hospital or to the clinic, you can meet with the shaman. This is one of the excerpts from the interview. Interviewee B stated that they still hold fast to the traditional adaptations, and the Iban community around my school area still practices various taboos that they inherited from generation to generation. Next, we are going to look at language differences. Number one, language barrier. According to Gratis P 2022, a language barrier is any linguistic limitation that creates confusion or prevents comprehension. A barrier could refer to national and cultural languages, but may also include specialized knowledge or speech impairments. It also means having difficulty to communicate effectively since they speak different languages. For example, pupil A speaks the Malay language and pupil B speaks the Iban language. So they will have difficulty to understand each other because they speak different languages. These are the excerpts from the interview. Interviewee A stated that it is quite difficult to teach Iban pupils because they are used to speak in their own mother tongue from childhood until school. Their Iban slang are too strong. Meanwhile, interviewee B stated that at the beginning it was quite difficult for me because it made my teaching process difficult. I couldn't understand and communicate with students but try to understand from clues from their body language. As for interviewee C, she stated that as a preschool teacher in the early stages, like the first 2 months, it is very difficult to teach because the majority of students cannot speak in BM and cannot understand BM. In preschool, she can only use BM and BI as the medium of instruction.
Next is on values. The main values that we have obtained from our findings are acceptance, tolerance, and respect. The interviewees are willing to learn other language in the community, which is the Iban language. They were able to pick up some of the basic Iban words and phrases that they could use to communicate with the Ibans. For example, makai means eat, udah mandi dek means have you taken your shower, kuka ngaga Iban mean I want to draw a person, pulai for going home, or nama berita for how are you. They are also willing to try other cultures' cuisine such as pekasam ubi, sabi, and ayam pansu. In addition, they are willing to accept others' differences too. Here are some of the excerpts from the interview. Even though they are working and staying in the Iban community, they are willing to learn to accept other people's point of view and respect their culture and customs. The next values are tolerance and respect. It can be defined as recognizing, embracing, and valuing the differences that exist in the community, promoting peaceful coexistence, and fostering mutual understanding. So, here are some of the excerpts from the interviews. Next is on the implications. The first implication is we need to be open to any changes. We need to learn to adapt to a new place or community by embracing change and their ways of life. Second, fostering unity despite differences. Regardless of one another's backgrounds, we should promote and practice mutual respect and tolerance.
So, in conclusion, we need to embrace the diversity, the first step towards genuine inclusion and acceptance, rather than simply tolerance, is fostering an awareness of diversity. That's all from our group. Thank you.